In this video, we're going to look at the getSchema operator. It's going to help us understand things. So for example, if we run this any query, we see that one of the columns that we get in the results, because it's here in this project low-level categories. So we have this in here, right? So it will be intuitive for us to say, well, I want to show all the events where the low-level categories is not 8052. Oh, it's easy. So I will just go here and use a where. Oops, I meant to delete all this. So I'm going to put a where low level, and the look ahead helped me here, is different than 8052 that we see down there, right? And it looks like an integer, right? Or maybe it's a string. Or let's see, let's try with an integer. And we run this, and what do we get? Error. Well, maybe it's not an integer, but it's a string. Let me go like that. I can be guessing quite a bit here, and I will get nowhere. I'm sure that IBM has good documentation for this. It's also given an error, but I'm going to show you an easier way of not having to look for that, which is using the getSchema. So the first thing that I'm going to do is that if you were to use the getSchema as an operator at the beginning of the search, you get all the column names, and here it tells you, well, the ordinal on the column, the domain type is a long, is string, integer, long, etc. Is an array or not? So you get all that data, right? But we are focusing on the low-level categories that we are been trying to manipulate. So for that, we actually project only that. Let me project low-level categories is actually right here, and then we pipe that and do a getSchema and run that query. And what do we get? Notice that it's telling me all these things. The domain type is an integer, but this is an array. That's what I couldn't manipulate it as a string or as an integer or as anything else. I need to put the suffix of the array like you do in C++. So now what you can actually do, armed with that information, is that you can actually filter and say, well, show me all the events where low-level categories, but as an array, the index of the array and the first element of the array, 0, is different than I don't remember what was the say that it's 8052. I don't recall if that is the. We saw that it was an integer, so we can just put it like that and run that query to filter all the events that are not 8052, right? We see all those level categories that are not that number. Again, that's a simple but very powerful trick when you are manipulating an attribute and you don't know, well, what is it give me an error? Resort to the getSchema operator, and it will provide you information about it. And you don't have to put the getSchema on the beginning. This follows the normal logic of KQL. You can put it on the pipe on the particular piece of information that you are interested in.